All right, everyone. Let's just check in. How's everybody doing? This is SatoshiCheck here with you guys. Today's going to be a great day. I got a lot of cool things to talk about. And not only that, just make sure everything's going good here. I have a few things that I am going to discuss with the group. If you're not in our group, definitely come join us. For those that are, you guys have known pretty much everything that's going on with the market as we keep up to date, and we go through the motions right now. Not every day is going to be, ecstatic or super euphoric. As you guys see on the screen right now, we are in dead neutral. We're about a 50 in the fear and greed index. Today, I encourage you guys to ask questions. I know a lot of you guys have been, sharing a lot of support, we've been doing a few trades. If you look at the community trades, not all the time do you want to be doing trades, especially during a static market, is sometimes you want to lay off leverage. Not to say you can't win. Like today I did a bonk long and a bonk short. And I broke above even, caught a little bit on the way down, caught a little bit on the way up. It's bonk was a strong runner today. Definitely, there was actually a few traders that are friends of mine. One was calling for a bonk short. The other one was like, no way, it's going to be a long today. And sure enough, it was a strong long, but there's a few different people, looking at that. And I also want to go over some cryptocurrencies and altcoin season, what I think about what's going on in the market, a few different cryptocurrencies I'm looking at. And there's been a lot of people on CT, a lot of people on X discussing, and I'm not going to name names, just a lot of people, and I'm talking about people that have been here through cycles. I know with me, many, some people have been here 2 cycles, some people have been here about 3 cycles like me, seeing these guys around. And I do know one thing is a lot of them, we have switched strategies completely. It begs to question a couple things. A lot of people are coming out and saying, okay, the market is not what it used to be. We're not getting, because of institutional investment in the Bitcoin ETFs and crypto equities, we are no longer, getting that exposure to, getting that altcoin season, or necessarily going to have that capital inflow. I beg to differ. And I say that because of patience. If you were in this group, this is multiple months ago, and you can timestamp this many months ago. I said we would not see bullish price action until starting at the earliest in July. And the reason for that is there was too much going on. Trump with the tariff talk, and also you'll come to find out in these markets, not all the time is news, okay? The reason the market's affected. Market makers a lot of times will use that news and sell that news. So, and it can go both ways, but they'll take a piece of news, right, and completely, as we all heard, Wintermute, like Binance, Coinbase. Recently, Coinbase has been purchasing a lot. Binance has been selling a lot, but both of them, will sell on that. Some news or some geopolitical attentions. The markets will tank. And you can, chalk some of that up to, having a risk off attitude, sure. But a lot of times it just gives market makers the reason to dump, right? And oftentimes they're liquidity hunting. I mean, you finally get a setup and you're like, wow, that's, an absolutely bullish setup. Put a leverage in, and they go liquidity hunting. I recommend, and I can't say for sure, can't, promise you that this is, you're going to make millions or you're not, or you're going to change your life. Crypto, we can make everything, or it could go to zero. But what I do encourage some people to do, and I will be setting these up in our trades, as well as we have an excellent trader as well with us, setting some trades up that are sustainable trades. Once we do get some bullish sentiment and we do get, some liquidity injection, possible start to quantitative easing, I am going to do tomorrow a macro video where I am going to get into what is going on in the macro, because it is a bit confusing. And I will tell you, if you look at YouTube videos about cryptocurrencies, you will see these people last week, alt season, tomorrow, alt season, tomorrow, alt season, tomorrow, 100x alt season. Nobody knows what's going on, but I can tell you, I don't look at just cryptocurrencies. I work in finance. I have a few businesses, my friends. I have a few friends that work in hedge funds. And one thing is right now, we are still not at a point where the macro environment is supportive of Bitcoin, okay, or altcoins in particular. And so, the rate, and I'll get in this tomorrow, but the odds of a July rate cut for the United States did raise up a bit into the 20% odds. Odds are probably not going to get a rate cut. It's not just solely dependent on rate cut. We're also, looking at quantitative easing. Also, I'm going to be discussing the jobs market, and some abnormalities with the job market, which is also giving a little bit, question there. And I'll get into that tomorrow. Basically, lower jobs came in than expected. But there's a little bit of interest there, because they're saying a lower, a lower job openings does not equate to recessionary at this time. And there's a few different reasons for that. So I'm going to get into that tomorrow. I have all my notes set up for tomorrow for that, so I'm not going to get into that today. But tomorrow, tune in to what I got to say about kind of the market, my take on it, what we could be looking at. And today is all about altcoins. It's going to be, because here's the thing. If like me, and I got Bitcoin, right? I could just say to you guys all day, Bitcoin, 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 right? I will tell you, Bitcoin changed my life. But I do recognize that Bitcoin is not in the near future, possibly. I mean, we can have the hopium that it's going to go to $1 million, or, in the future. But right now, nobody's banking on Bitcoin is going to take my $10,000 investment and going to make me $200,000, right? Nobody's saying that, right? At least not right now. So the hope is in altcoins. And I found, and this has been a long time back, but I realized I hadn't touched on this. And I realized I didn't see many people touching on this. And I said, this group is amazing. We have some of the best traders. We have some of the best eyes in the market in this group. And I was sitting on this and I said, the group needs to know this. And if you guys already know this, which a lot of you I'm sure do, I plan on making sure to every single day be tracking this. And this is also a huge, huge tool for, first of all, picking great altcoins, as well as knowing a possible good chance to long an altcoin. And I am going to show you a good example of that today. And so I have a few, okay, on my radar, okay. One today that I'm going to be talking about is hyperliquid, right? Okay, we've heard about it, right? You can trade perps on it. You know, it's their slogan is the blockchain to house all finance. Um, Absolutely killer cryptocurrency. I mean, it's great. Hyperliquid. Um, you know, if you had gotten to this early, you would already saw 4x, right? Um, but I do believe the tokenomics are great. I'm going to get into that in a little bit. But I want to get into Hyperliquid a little bit and why Hyperliquid corresponds to what I'm going to be talking today about TVL, total value locked, and why TVL is important. Now, when you look at Bitcoin, okay, Bitcoin itself, right, doesn't have staking volume. You know, the total value locked when we really consider TVL, we're usually looking at DeFi or decentralized finance, right? And so I'm going to go to first. I'm going to go here to DeFi Llama. Okay, so if you're unfamiliar with DeFi Llama, you got to lock in to DeFi Llama. Okay, all right. So okay, some people look at Bridge TVL as like, oh, you know, it's not the same. It's it still goes to show you the revenue. So this is going to show you revenue, top protocols, and so let's go ahead and look here. Okay, so fees paid. Actually, if you look at this, Hype actually look at this, guys. Circle. Okay, Circle is Circle and Tether obviously stable coins. Tether's going to get number one. Definitely has more futures trading with Tether. There's not as many pairs with USDC, but that's changing. But Jitto, okay, is doing very well as Jupiter, and we're sleep. A lot of people are asleep at the wheel on Jupiter, and I think when Jupiter runs again, I think it'll be a solid run. I think Jupiter, is going to run hard. In the past, before we weren't even in an alt season, but we were in a rally. We didn't get an alt season yet. We got a couple of alt rallies, really just like a period of a few days where altcoins outperform, and these days are very crucial. Okay, and I bring all that knowledge with me. If you were here, great, you know, but I bring all that knowledge with me because when those happened, you get to see what ran the hardest, right? And then when that, alt rally was gone, what were some of those hard runners when Bitcoin was running as well? Now, we can all say right now, well, SatoshiCheck, Bitcoin's up and nothing's running except for casino pops, right? And guys, we can't chase green candles. So the way I look at it is we need to position, like me, I position myself to a narrative before it's there. And I'm looking at narratives differently this time, okay? Because for one, I do believe that there will be institutional interest. I do believe there will be institutional FOMO. And I do believe, yes, some capital is going to go to crypto equities, some capital is going to go to Bitcoin ETFs, but I would be very daring to say, for instance, Canary Capital, I know you guys hear me talk about a lot, $30 million OTC purchase on Axelar. $30 million is not a drop in the bucket. $30 million, they filed an Axelar ETF. There's no news, can't find nothing about it. They filed an Axelar ETF. That means that they saw something good enough in Axelar to want to even file an ETF or even think it would have a 1% chance of passing. So that, and even to do the paperwork, pay the lawyers, do all that. So I'm going to get into this right here. So if we look here, okay, this is what's great, right? It's going to tell you the total value locked, and your mind's going to like shake sometimes if you haven't been on this. And this is what's great is I always look at the 1 day change first, and then I look at the overall 7-day change, okay? But when we look at Lido, look at the TVL Ave. We got 25 billion locked in Ave. Lido, okay? There's been $1.9 million in fees on Lido, okay, in the past 24 hours. Lido, strong pick for me. I'm going to go in and look in the tokenomics today on Lido. There's a few here that I am going to be looking at today with you guys. So one's going to be, let's get a new pen here. Okay, one's going to be Lido. Okay. And so we got Lido, Athena. Already got that pulled up. You guys see that at the top before we got in here, Athena. All right. So large TVL, okay, but I'm gonna show you something. So baby is partner Baby X Axelar, okay, right? So Babylon or Baby. And they, I mean, look at the TVL, $4.775 billion TVL on Baby. Now let's look at, so, but it doesn't have fees here or cumulative revenue, so kind of questionable here. So we'll check back, and also it's kind of a new cryptocurrency. But Jitto, okay. Now this one I think is, let's go back here. Excuse me for that. Okay, let's go here. Okay. Excuse me for that. Okay. So we were talking about Jitto. So that has also had some grayscale recognition with Jitto. And it is locking in top 10 most used protocols here. Of course, exit out. Okay. All right. There we go. All right. So when we go down to Jitto, okay, so it's down overall a little bit here. Good TVL right here with Jitto. Decent fees. I mean, $1 million in fees. Revenue in the 24 hours. And cumulative revenue, $17.9 million. Now, also a couple other ones that I'm looking at. A lot of people, I mean, oh man, a lot of people are talking about Compound, right? We know a lot of influencers are really big on Compound. Really great cryptocurrency, great TVL. Decent amount of fees paid, 124,000, right? And this is one I want to show you guys, okay? Maple Finance, Syrup, okay? And this I will be using for you can use it yourself. I will be making sure our group is locked in always. If you want to work with our group, Crypto Strategy School, sign up. The top tier is the best. You get all the coaches. I mean, school classes, various different things that you can do. I mean, everything from courses, classes, beginners, setting up a beginner's portfolio, leverage trading, spot trading, daily analysis, live shows. I mean, you name it. CSS does it, so check it out. So Maple Finance has been absolutely killing it. But I want to show you something about Maple Finance or Syrup, okay? So let's go here, okay? Now look at this. Right here. Right here. Okay? Now this is going to be one of those things that will never, ever happen in this group. These are going to be things that we are locked in. We are locked in. I told you guys, we are going to be locked in. Look at this, guys. In July, when we saw this upward trajectory right there, look at that. I mean, that was a 5X. That was a 5X on Syrup right there. Look at that upward trajectory. It corresponded directly. If we look, okay, if we look at Syrup, okay, There we go. Okay, let's see here. Look at that. Okay, so if you literally go into May, so in May is when we started picking up into July. So if you look into July, that is when syrup literally went. Let's see. Trying to get this up for you guys. Okay, yep. So, oh yeah, it went on a nasty so when the TVL skyrocketed in July, it literally would have been an excellent time for a decent long right there. I mean, syrup went from 40 cents, okay, skyrocketed. And we saw what syrup did, went over 60 cents, right? Almost a 2x from there on the TVL. And so this is an important metric to use, especially for DeFi. And it can really, really give you an edge in finding, especially when a cryptocurrency, especially in the DeFi category, is going to be taking off. And I'm going to show you some ones that I am really interested in. Okay, Curve DAO still got my attention, right? Stable coins, Curve DAO, Grayscale, okay? Um, and so we have a lot of here. Drift is still catching my attention here. Drift is really catching my attention here. It's got a fair amount of TVL, almost $1 billion in TVL. The price has really came down. Um, it's definitely something to be interested in. Even if you look at like Franklin Templeton, so the fund invests at least 99.5% of its total assets in U.S. government securities, cash, and repurchase agreements collateralized fully by U.S. government securities or cash. Guys, this is why RWAs are going to be one of the biggest things coming up. And if you guys saw the S&P 500 posted on Twitter today about tokenization and the future of tokenization. So the two categories that I'm the biggest on is stable coins. Well, I'll say three: stable coins and stable coin related. I'm not talking about like actual Tether or just Circle. I am talking about people that are partnered with USDC, particularly DeFi, right? That's connected with the USDC partnerships, RWA, and tokenization. I do believe, will do well. But I think it was more of a narrative niche. I have seen many AI protocols go to nothing. For instance, one comeback, which would be glorious to say the least, would be Zero One Labs. Great product. They were building AI agents on ETH. Decent tokenomics. I mean, they didn't have, I believe they had about 90 million supply. Decent tokenomics. Ran all the way from 5 cents to $1. Yeah, 25x on that. I did on Zero One. Right now, it's still about 6 cents. So if that thing runs again, I mean, just to get back to all-time highs, just to $1 would be a 25x, and but it's got really low volume right now, and that's just to show you, like desync. Okay, Alex Becker was talking about desync. It's literally at like a few cents right now. Carrot, remember guys? I know everybody remembers when Carrot was like 60 cents, 50 cents. It's at like 4 cents, right? So we got to be selective. And we gotta position, and so that's what I am doing here. And I know everybody. I really appreciate every single person here that follows, what I'm doing in the markets, and we have done very well compared to the overall market, compared to some of the biggest people in crypto. I mean, our aerodrome trade, our Axelar trade, some of the meme coin trades, our leverage trades. I mean, Long and Mood Ding the other day, I mean, we even took profits early and rocked that. If we let that thing go, I mean, good God, about like 500-600% long there. You know, and we're going to be doing that all cycle. You know, I can't promise everything's going to be a win, but I promise you that I'm going to be giving it my all, and this is a part of it. So I wanted to bring up that DeFi Llama is very important to check in every single day, because if you can catch when a cryptocurrency is bringing in more revenue, right? That usually corresponds to an uptick in the price of the cryptocurrency. Now, if let's look at Aerodrome, okay? Aerodrome sleeper cell for me, okay? It's only got about 600 million locked based on DEX. I think this thing can push ATH, but higher. I think this thing can actually be one of those ones that can push ATH and higher. So ATH is just slang for all-time high, because a lot of cryptocurrencies are, you know, a lot of people talk about go to ATH or higher. I believe Aerodrome has the possibility, especially with the tokenomics, the narrative behind it, also the retail, they can understand it, you know, when they you know, catch wind of tokenization, as well as it's doing real world things. I mean, Coinbase is on the net, you know, I mean, this is real deal stuff here, and they're doing real things over at Aerodrome. So when we look at it, they do have a very healthy amount of fees coming in, but like if you look correspondingly, and I'm going to get in this, if you looked right here, this would have been a great time to long Aerodrome, right? Bam, right? And so like right here, looking at here, when the sky's boom, right here, and now look, guys, we've kind of came down, right? We've kind of came down, right? And so we're kind of plateauing here. But I wanted to get into one which was like, oh man, an absolute giveaway. Hyperliquid, okay? Really love Hyperliquid. I'm going to do an even bigger deep dive into a few of these, but I want to get into like Hyperland, Hyperliquid. A few of these just today. I just want to get into a few that I'm really betting on, and I want to hear from the group what you guys are betting on for this cycle. And I'm just going to go here and check here. Okay. And so if you guys get time, come back, check in with me. So what I'm betting on for this cycle is DeFi. I know that sounds a little bit off, but I've been in 3 cycles. And one thing is usually what everybody thinks is usually wrong. And where we're in this, I really believe RWAs are going to hit hard, and I believe DeFi is going to hit hard. I believe AI is going to hit hard, but it's going to be selective. I do not believe all tides will rise on AI, just because like of how poorly some of those chains have done just over the course of the last 6 months. I mean, when the market just went down even just a little bit, oh man, I mean, some of those were just like non-existent anymore. And so my biggest bets are in DeFi, and those partnered with Circle. So, okay, SatoshiCheck, what are they? So one, I'm going to go into Hyperliquid, and I'm just going to show you something. Right here in April, okay, when Hyperliquid had about a 230 million TVL, right here, exactly here. If you had been on DeFi Llama, okay, look, it's already got $800 million in fees generated already. Right here in April, if you had bought Hype, it would have been about $9, close to on April 9th. If you had bought it there, look at that. Boom, huge trajectory, 4x, bam. Easy 4x, just checking on the TVL trajectory. right? Like on Maple, on Hyperliquid. So I'm giving you guys this as a tool to kind of skim through some various metrics here and just kind of show you how, total value locked, fee generation, all of these things correspond, to price. And so there's a lot on here, right? And I'm going to be doing some research, as always, into a lot of these chains. Now, you guys know this is one of my big bets, okay? And look at this, guys. So um, if we look here, right, this one is partnered directly with USDC, okay? If you go to Grok, you don't have to be a fan of Grok, but if you go on AI, you can type in which cryptocurrencies are partnered with Circle. Moonwell is going to come up, okay, because of their Visa card. Visa is also partnered with Circle for financials. Moonwell has a USDC vault. They, enable USDC, fiat conversion. It's a huge bet for me this cycle. Number one, it's Base alumni, Coinbase Ventures invested in it. It's at extremely low valuation, and it's doing real world things, especially in the DeFi space. I mean, if I've already ordered my Moonwell card, you can, if you're invested in Moonwell, you can actually order the Moonwell card. You can spend and use your crypto. You just literally put your USDC, into your Moonwell card, and you can spend it anywhere you want all around the world. And so if you correspond these, and not always, but like I said, if you look at this TVL from, if we 80 million all the way up to 226 million, we went all the way back down, right? But if you correspond these to lows in the price, to highs in the price, the TVL generally will follow the price. So right now, look at Moonwell. It's actually doing phenomenally well. It's actually on an upward trajectory. And that's why I am DCAing into Moonwell as we speak. Yes, I am DCAing into Moonwell as we speak. It's a big bet of mine. I feel comfortable in the sea of altcoins that Moonwell is not going to be one of those ones that just poof disappears. I can't guarantee anything, but I'm not like a lot of influencers. I don't like, no influencer, no one likes to lose money. But I don't just change my convictions. If I have a conviction, it's strong and it's for a reason. It's because I've studied it and I've really went through the whole protocol. They're doing a lot of things at Moonwell and Optimism, the Optimism Moonwell partnership. Optimism is a very great cryptocurrency, and they're doing a lot of great things there. So the Optimism Moonwell partnership, it's just phenomenal. I really believe this one has a lot of room to grow. Decent TVL. I'm looking okay. It's got, decent TVL, right? It's like, it's not a ghost chain, and, it's sitting at 2.5, 3 cents. Like, do I believe that could 5, 10, 15, 20x? Sure. Absolutely. I'm also going to want to get into charts here, especially on the cryptocurrencies that I am betting on. For those that may be new here, okay, I'm going to tell you, I do not like over diversify. I don't like to over diversify. That is just me, right? I don't like to over diversify because when you over diversify, to me, it just shows you don't have conviction. Like when I see people that have 1 million plus followers and they're like, I just sold all 40 of my altcoins and put them into Sol, ETH, and BTC. And I'm like, why did you take 40 altcoins, and put them all into BTC and ETH? Like that makes no sense, right? Like, because you would not be so crushed. And listen, it's okay. If you're one of those ones that's like, SatoshiCheck, you're talking to, man, I had 20 cryptocurrencies, I got burnt. Trust me, everybody does it. This cycle, I even overexposed myself to meme coins and had to be like, oh, got to cut that one, got to cut that one, got to cut that one. It's okay. It happens. But being overexposed to, say, 40 alts, this cycle especially, I believe the winners are going to shine, and they're going to shine hard. And some of these will run, and when it's time. And I definitely believe those tied to USDC are going to attract not only retail interest but institutional interest, right? Especially when retail and just the general public understand like we are moving into the age of tokenization, into the age of using USDC and different payment rails, and understanding that Moonwell literally is basically a crypto bank. Now we're not talking about like Ripple's IPO or like the Ripple Bank, but we're talking about. I mean, it has its own credit card that you can turn. You can literally get paid. If I'm not mistaken, you can get paid on your Moonwell card. You can actually take ACH, and it converts to USDC, or you can load it up with USDC and spend it anywhere you want, and convert to fiat anywhere you want, across the globe pretty much. So doing really great things there with Moonwell. Super big on Moonwell. I also got one shout out Frank. I know Frank. When Frank and me and Frank have known each other for a while. When Frank came in, I know me and him talked, and he was kind of, when I was talking about Axelar, he was like, "Yeah, that's a solid pick," and he really rocked with Axelar. There's one that he brought up, and this one actually goes back. It's not new to me, but I haven't thought about it in a while, and I wanted to check that one out because it's trending. And this is a shout out directly to Frank on this one. And I know he shouted me out with the Axelar, so got to give him a shout back. That's how it works. Especially give credit where credit's due. So before I do that, I'm going to get into a couple of these. So once again, Axelar has the gateway to open finance, right? I want to show you guys, and I'm not going to take long here, but when we look at the partnerships here, Microsoft, MasterCard, JP Morgan, Deutsche Bank, Circle, Centrifuge, right? Huge. Centrifuge, Circle, huge. Rondo, huge. Provenance, huge, right? We've got Celestia. Now, this is in the category, I want to talk about Celestia a little bit, and I'm going to be talking about targets. So on my upcoming videos, there's going to be actually altcoin targets, okay? I'm going to be going over targets. These are not predictions. These are, scenarios where if this cryptocurrency performs, this is what I'm looking at. I put Celestia in. It was at one time super hot. Will it be again? Because Celestia is at like $1.40, or last time I checked, $1.40, $1.60, and it was a $20 coin. So for it just to go to its previous all-time high is almost a 17x, okay? So that is like, was hot. Will it be again? I mean, you couldn't believe how many green candle days Celestia had. That long I had on Celestia fed my family for like a year. That was before I even got in touch with everyone here. No, but Celestia was like super hot. Will it be again? Filecoin, OG, right? But when we go in here and look at the ecosystem, and I am going to be talking about Celestia because it's interesting because it could be one of those sleeper picks because like people have forgotten about it, and it could really, really just explode. Like one of those ones that like everybody's sleeping on. Smart money stacks it, and then everybody chases the hype. So we're definitely going to be watching Celestia. I'm going to be watching Celestia. This is just what I want to get into. It's unmatched. Axelar is unmatched. I am DCing into Axelar at these current levels and Moonwell at these current levels as of right now, guys. So like, I like to talk about spot. The reason why is I've seen my friends that were millionaires lose their shirts off their back from leveraging. Yeah, I've seen it, and I love leverage, and you guys know I post leverage, but I try not to post 10 or 12 trades a day. If it's necessary, I will. Like if it's booming like that, we're gonna post them all day, right? But I do like, as you guys have seen, the trades I post, I try to go for a 10 out of 10. Sometimes I get 8 out of 10, but I try to do 10 out of 10. Like we just had a killer blast. Like I just real quick, short blast. It was a nice short we got there yesterday. But so Uniswap also pretty bullish setup on the chart. I've got a list here of ones that we're gonna get back into, some other picks for the cycle, just to kind of look. We also will be doing some spot trading. So this is how I plan to structure my approach to this cycle. So I will be having profit targets, okay, and we'll be discussing those in the group, okay, and I am going to be getting to those soon. And as we see what moves, how it moves, how the cycle unfolds, we will have more insight into how our positioning goes, as well as, remember I told you guys like 15%, like, say you take 15%, let's just say your spot 15%, and say it's $1,000, say it's $5,000, say it's $500, $200, doesn't matter. And you say, okay, this I'm willing to spot trade, not leverage, but spot trade. So that means like, hey, I'll go into Uniswap, get a gain, look at the next narrative, look at the next, and so I've done very well over the years with doing that, with maintaining one position. So I am not a day trader. I do not like to sit there and trade like say Axelar. Oh, I'm going to sell everything and then buy another cryptocurrency, sell everything. I try to make sure I have conviction on the altcoins that I position in, and I execute at the sell targets I have. Right? Not everything can work out perfectly, but that's how I do it. And if you're in our group, every time that I plan to take profits, they will always be posted. And my portfolio is posted there as well. But this is big to me, right? So when we look at the Axelar ecosystem, look at the first guys, look at this. Circle. First one, circle, Axelar, circle. So Axelar has been integrated with Circle since 2022. And it's basically helping fragmented liquidity across the stablecoin market with Circle. So that is why I am so big on Axelar, number one. I mean, we have Lido. We just talked about Lido, Uniswap. I'm not going to go through these because these are endless. We just saw Squid, powered by Axelar, Axelar just opened up the XRPL EVM sidechain. So the XRPL EVM is now up and going, powered by Axelar. So a lot of bullish catalysts, I think, here for Axelar. And I told you guys I wouldn't go too much into that, but yeah, just super bullish on Axel and just what they're doing, the partnerships they have. I mean, here you go here, right? So I mean, oh man, they have so many, but here's one. Utilizing Axelar GMP has been a transformative experience for Somalia, giving us instant ubiquity across the EVM ecosystem and revolutionizing the ability for strategists to operate across DeFi. So they actually have Axelar categorized as a DeFi, but it's really an RWA DeFi interoperability. It's hard to have a stack like that, and they have a great stack. So before we go over to Hyperliquid and the next one here, right? It was voted number one, so you guys that are in the group know. This one, I'm looking to build a position in. I'm going to be honest with you. I've held Athena before. I'm really looking to build a position. The only thing is, the tokenomics are not horrible. They're not horrible. Okay. They're actually good. They're decent. It does have a fair supply, and I'll get into that in a moment with Athena. But I'm looking to get into Athena, and possibly building one more position. I'm probably going to be building two more positions. So I've told the group, One of my positions was SUI. I over 4x SUI, and I sold my whole bag. I can't be perfect every time, but I sold my whole bag, and I'm grateful I did. Because I mean, right, it's like, 280, 290. I sold it like four and change, right? So I did really good with SUI. Uh, and SUI, I really, I think it's a really good bet for the cycle. I believe it's a conservative bet for me. But when I look at Athena, and I think stable coins, right? So when we look at this, you know, this is another one. Pendle, you guys heard me post about Pendle, is one of my bets for the cycle. Another one. So Athena, Sui, and Pendle. Just those three, and I have already talked about hype. So I've introduced four cryptocurrencies other than my core holdings and altcoins. My core holdings are Moonwell, which I'm DCing in at current levels. Axelar DCing at current levels. Okay. Aerodrome, I'm not currently DCing, but I do have a bag, and I possibly may DC more if the price is right, and DC more into Aerodrome. But I do have a decent sized bag of Aerodrome. If you don't, not a bad time to DCA. We might be possibly looking at Bitcoin dominance topping out here soon. Possibly in tomorrow's video, we can touch on some Bitcoin dominance and go into some Bitcoin dominance chart in the macro. So like I said, I have Axelar, Moonwell, currently DCing into both of those, not DCing into Aerodrome right now, but not a bad time to. Aerodrome is a strong pick, strong holding of mine, as well as, let's see here, Clearpool. Clearpool Finance is my low cap RWA moonshot. Yeah, it's doing institutional credit, on chain finance. On chain finance is set to be very big. They have good partnerships, doing a lot of great things. I believe it could do phenomenally well in the right market conditions. So one of my C-Pool is at a very great demand zone. Is at 9-10 cents area. It's a huge demand zone for C-Pool. And we've seen when the market runs, C-Pool will do 18% a day, right? So like if you haven't built a position in C-Pool, it may not be a bad time to build one. When C-Pool runs, especially if you're just building a portfolio and you can get your average entry low as 11 cents, it's definitely not a bad time. So this is what I am looking at with Athena. We've got DeFi, exchanges, institutional. So Wintermute, guys, everybody here's Wintermute, like Wintermute. But look, exchanges, it's on Hype, Mexi, not too big on Mexi, but Athena, right, Aave, Morpho, let's see here. Let's not go here. So, anyways, unparalleled transparency, so real-time backing assets, proof of reserve, highlights. So, Athena TON integration. So, introducing the product for 1 billion people today. We announced our partnership with TON Blockchain to power finance's most powerful use case to send, save, and pay. Let's see. They also are doing something with Securitize, I believe. So let's see here. So the opportunity for Athena to scale on Telegram and TON is massive, with similar examples of, let's see here. Let's see here. But yeah, so Converge, Athena, Securitize, great things here. partners with Securitize. They've got a lot of great partnerships here, guys. So yeah, absolutely great partnerships here. I'm definitely going to be looking into Athena, especially stablecoin market. Let's just give a shot to their ecosystem real quick. So Athena ecosystem, right? So Arbitrium, you know, Arbitrium, I had just landed a nice partnership. Arbitrium is definitely, I think, one of those sleepers. I think it's a really good entry into Arbitrium right now. Chart's pretty bullish on Arbitrium. Now, going back in here, last but not least, because we do have one more, is Sui or Sui, right? However you want to pronounce it. These got some big backers, and what I mean by that, guys, is the reason why I may, and this just depends how the market plays out, because we don't know yet, right? We don't know if we're going to get that explosive alt season, if we're going to have to strategically reposition. That's what you guys got me here for, behind the scenes. Yes, I'm going to be helping with leverage. Yes, I'm going to be, doing everything I can to make sure you're successful, right? And giving it everything I got, right? And I'm studying every day. I'm researching every day. To be successful in this market, you cannot believe everybody, and you need to research. Don't take my word for it. Don't take anybody's word for it. Research. Sui definitely has what it takes. I was super bummed about the Cetus. I still have not gotten over that completely. The Cetus hack. Oh man, that really set it back. I'm not saying that killed it. A lot of people really bullish on Sui, but I mean, man, that killed a lot of their great meme tokens. I mean, we were in Squirtle. It was destined to be a great meme coin, and you can't call it. But I mean, man, when Cetus got hacked, went to zero. I mean, literally all of their meme coins went to zero. Horrible loss for Sui. But Sui has a lot of big partnerships. Partner with Axelar, partner with a lot of blockchains. There's a lot of layer ones out there, so I want to get that clear, right? There's a lot of layer ones, and I think Sui appeals to the masses, right? It's really one of those cryptocurrencies that there's institutional interest, there's institutional ETFs, behind the scenes getting filed, chances of them getting accepted or, in the middle for Sui. Definitely a high conviction bet for the cycle. And one I do want to talk about here before we get into the final one, which is Hyperliquid, is Caspa. Now, what I have to say about Caspa is the thing is Casper has a lot of catalysts that I think people are sleeping on. I've talked to a lot of influencers and a lot of people that are actually in crypto that are not so much influencers. And Caspa is a proof of work. We've seen Dogecoin do absolutely stupid numbers, right? And to say that Caspa can't go to $1 or go to 90 cents, 80 cents, 60, 70 cents is absurd. It's a proof of work cryptocurrency that's building out a full ecosystem. It has some major, I believe European partnerships with the Casper Industrial Initiative. They have a lot of bullish catalysts here, right? And, talking about Casper, I'm just going to go here. Casper Kai, I'm going to go here and just go to the Casper Kai Industrial Initiative. Now, I know some people are kind of thinking like Casper, Casper is a proof of work at the end of the day. I've seen many proof of works make it. I've seen a few not make it. But I cannot say I've seen a proof of work so fast, a proof of work that is this cutting edge tech. Binance keeps hinting at the parallelization. When we talk about SWE, we talk about Castle, we talk about Say. Say is definitely showing a bullish setup. Um, Definitely, I'll be talking about a few other altcoins, but I do hold Caspa. Disclosure, full disclosure, I do own Caspa too. Um, and they have a lot of great stuff going here. And they plan on cross-border payments, RWA tokenization. They are ISO 222 compliant. Stable coins on cash, but decentralized finance. We're seeing dexes. We're seeing mixers, even mixers being built on Caspa. I think there's a lot of bullish catalysts, and as well as Caspa, maybe from a tech point of view, somebody might not be able to sit down and explain Caspa, but people are intrigued with Caspa. Those who miss Bitcoin are like, what is Caspa? And Caspa, really backs up what it says. Now, I can at least say I give it to the people that are non-believers. They're like, oh, it's 60% down. I've heard a few people, and this is what's a little laughable to me, guys, is there's a few reasons on X and on socials that said, oh, I can tell you Caspa is an F for me or a 0 for me because, it's 60% down from all-time highs. And I'm like, aren't most altcoins 60% down from all, like, you see what I mean, right? So like their thought process, like, oh, that's 60% down from all-time highs. I'm like, yeah, most altcoins are because Bitcoin dominance is really high. So the argument for Caspa still lies there. There's still a lot of believers in Caspa. I do believe Caspa can do well. It's going to be one of those ones that if the catalysts align right, it can absolutely do well. And just going over to a new addition to my portfolio, and I will be updating my portfolio, is Hyperliquid. We've got institutional interest. We have institutions raising money to buy Hyperliquid. High performance AI. It's got the whole AI narrative, DeFi narrative. It's Dex, Sex. It's literally a very unique cryptocurrency and blockchain, and they're really doing great things. They're just doing a lot of things. So they got low fees, transparent. They're doing a lot of things. I really like Hyperliquid. The question for me is if Tau, okay, with similar tokenomics, Hyper's got good tokenomics, right? And so the Hyperliquid blockchain features two key parts, Hypercore and Hyper EVM. The Hyper EVM is not a separate chain, but rather secured by the same Hyper BFT consensus as Hypercore. This lets the Hyper EVM interact directly with parts of Hypercore, such as spot and perp order books. So what can it do? Explore directories of apps, tools, and more built by community members. So you can builders can plug in and mature liquid and performant on-chain order books with Hypercore. They're doing a lot. Hyperliquid's doing a lot. It's really maintained a really bullish structure throughout this. And I want to see what this thing can do for the alt season, right? For the so-called alt season, right? So I'm going to wrap that up. And if anyone's still here, I'm going to come back here. And I'm going to stop sharing. I'm just going to talk to you guys for a little bit. So I just wanted to get into this. So today, we talked about a few things. So obviously, we talked about, let's see here, various altcoin picks that I got for this cycle. And various different plays and various altcoins that I want to be looking into. And so as we go through the cycle, I'm very, 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 very excited. I believe there's a lot of bullish catalysts to come this year. Yeah. So, hey, what's up, guys? I came back to the screen just so I could talk to you guys, man. I'm free all day. Anytime you guys want to ask me questions, I can enter for this evening. How about this? Why don't I look at a few? Okay, so I'll look at a few and I'll throw some up on the board if I can find some. So today, like I said, I entered bonk, but the market just hung around that 108 USD, and when it was sitting there, it's like this. It's like up, down, and it's just a loser's leverage. Let me see what I can do, and let me see if I can whip something up for us tonight. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see where the market takes us, and I'll try to throw a few trades in there for sure. So yeah, guys, I am going to, for those that don't know, this is, I live in Brazil currently. I travel a lot, but I'm home for a while. Happy Fourth for all the U.S. Citizens. I'm originally from the U.S. Happy Fourth, belated Fourth. We will be posting trades nonstop. I do want everybody, thank you for everybody tuning in. I just want to say one thing. You know, in this bull run, don't, for me, I'm trying not to be over positioned, right? If you are over positioned or only in leverage, it may be something that, you may want to dial in. And I'm just saying this from experience. I got a little bit lucky, right? I was given Bitcoin for the first time, and then I, got into crypto. But I learned a lot. I had to lose a lot many years ago. I lost a lot. And that's what I bring to you guys is the ability to say, look, this is what I lost, right? And this is how I was able to gain my freedom. And it's through that conviction, it's through not diversifying. I learned the worst thing is diversifying, and the worst thing is doubting yourself. Never doubt yourself, never take my word for it. Look up these things, right? Because a lot of times you go online, you see people talk about, oh, this is the cryptocurrency, this is the AI coin that's going to 100x. That AI coin's dead. I will never do that. I can't promise nothing, nothing's financial advice. But the cryptocurrencies that I put up that are in my portfolio that I talked to you guys about are 100% researched. I make sure to put my heart and all of my hard-earned effort into every single coin. Like Axelar, for instance, one of my largest bets of the cycle. Yes, we've seen it rip recently. I think that's nothing with the partnerships that they got, like just Microsoft being in the future of JP Morgan's wealth management, the partnerships with JP Morgan, Circle. I'm looking into a few others, and I'm monitoring DeFi Llama for some upcoming trades for us. Please use DeFi Llama. If you're one of those ones like me that, you may have some spare time, or maybe you have it on the weekends, check out DeFi Llama and go through there. If you notice an abnormal spike, share it. Share it with the group. Like, hey, I'm seeing something look like it's going on an upward trajectory here. That may be a good time to long. Not financial advice, but as you see, every time TVL starts to skyrocket, the price follows, right? So that's a good tool, right? So I am going to be posting when I'm getting back into SUI. I am adding to my hyper position, and I'm currently DCing into Moonwell, Axelar, okay? And that's it for tonight. I am going to come back tomorrow. I may do a 2-segment and kind of get into some charting and some possible upcoming spot trades. So I appreciate everyone. I'm not going to hold you guys too long. I will look at some trades for tonight. Thank you, everyone, and I will talk to you guys soon, all right? Peace out, guys. I will talk to you guys tonight.